All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping into something, well, pretty mind-bending. It's this amazing framework that takes ancient ideas and mashes them up with modern tech to give you a completely new way of looking at your own life.
So let me ask you something. Is your life just a pre-written script, or is it more like a game? A game you can actually win? What if, and stick with me here, what if all of this, existence, isn't random at all? What if it's some kind of super advanced, procedurally generated simulation, and you're the player? The best part? You might just have a user manual you never even knew existed.
Okay, so the theory kicks off with a really big idea. It suggests that your birth, well, it's not just a biological thing. It's what's called a consciousness parameterization process. I know, it's a mouthful, but think of it like this. It's the exact moment your character loads into the game. All your core stats, your attributes, your settings, they get locked in. And that whole process, it sets you on a very specific path, something the source calls a reality groove.
So what is a reality groove? Good question. You can basically think of it as your predetermined path. It's like a resonant channel that's set in stone the second you're born. And what's steering it? Well, according to this, it's the patterns of the planets and, the basic algorithmic rules of this whole conscious simulation.
All right, so how does this whole thing actually work? Well, in this model, the position of all the planets and stars when you were born, that's not just some random cosmic coincidence. No, they act as a seed value. Now, if you're a gamer, you know exactly what that is. It's like in Minecraft, right? You punch in a seed, and it generates a totally unique world. In this case, that celestial seed generates the unique map, the specific terrain of your life.
Okay, so we've established it's a game. And what does every player in a game need? A character sheet, right? Well, in this simulation, your character sheet is your horoscope. That's your fundamental source code.
So your horoscope, or as it's known in the Vedic tradition, your Janma Kundali, is generated at the exact moment you're born. And here's the really important part. It is completely static. It's immutable. You can't change it. Think of it as the part of the code that's read-only. It's the foundational script for this entire lifetime. And get this source code defines some pretty major stuff. It sets all the hard constraints for your personal game. We're talking about the things you just can't change. Who your parents are, your basic body type, the talents you're born with, and even the major plot points, the big structural events that you are basically destined to run into.
So the key takeaway here is to see the horoscope as the game's blueprint. It's not the final building, it's just the plan. It represents your prarabdha karma, which is basically the karma you've been assigned for this lifetime. It lays out your personality, your physical constitution, and even sets the genre for your life. Is it a comedy, a tragedy? But always, always remember, it's just the blueprint. It shows the potential, not what's happening right now.
Okay, that brings up a big question, right? If the horoscope is this static, unchangeable source code, how do we actually track our progress in the game? How can we see the effects of the choices we're making in real time?
Well, that's where your palm comes in. Yeah, you heard me. According to this whole framework, palmistry, or Samudrika Shastra, isn't about some crystal ball fortune-telling. It's your dynamic, real-time heads-up display. Your HUD. Just like in a video game, is showing you your health bar, your stats, your current status, live.
And this is what's so cool about it. Unlike your static birth chart, the lines on your palm are a live diagnostic monitor. They literally change over time, and the implication of that is, well, it's huge. It means your palm shows how you are actually playing the game. It reflects the consequences of your choices, your habits. It's like a log of the wear and tear on your avatar's chassis, if you will.
And this right here, this is the heart of the whole system. It's that classic battle, fate versus free will. On one hand, you have the horoscope. That's fate. It sets the terrain of the level. It's the server-side logic. But on the other hand, you have your palm, and that shows how you are navigating that level. That, my friends, is free will. It's your client-side real-time status bar. It's a dynamic feedback loop for your entire journey.
So, if this is all a game, and you got a live status monitor, it begs the question, right? Can you use cheat codes? Can you actually hack the system? Well, according to this theory, yes, you absolutely can. They're called upayas, or astrological remedies, and they're essentially framed as ways to go in and edit your own script.
The source lays out 3 main ways to patch your own code. First up, you've got mantras. Think of these as a kind of sonic reprogramming, like active noise cancellation for all the junk in your head.
Then you have gemstones. These are described as resonance filters that basically amplify the good planetary vibes. And finally, number 3 is charity. This one works like karmic offsetting. It's like paying down your balance on a cosmic debt ledger.
So, all of this whole framework, it leads us to the ultimate question, doesn't it? Are we just NPCs, non-player characters, just running a script that was written for us? Or are we actual conscious players who have real agency to navigate a path we can actually influence?
Well, the theory suggests it's actually a middle ground. It's something called soft determinism. So your source code, your horoscope, it sets the challenges, it creates the environment, it designs the level. But the player, and that's you always control how you react. You have the agency to decide how you respond to whatever the script throws at you.
And this just reframes the whole idea of destiny, doesn't it? Your prarabdha karma. It's not some rigid, unbreakable chain of events you're locked into. It's much more like playing a game with weighted dice. Your initial code, it biases the probability. It makes certain outcomes more likely, but it never, ever guarantees them. Think of it this way. Your birth chart loads the dice, but your free will is what gets to roll them. What's really fascinating here is how this one idea seems to connect so many different worldviews. I mean, whether you call it a seed value from simulation theory, or relinking consciousness from Buddhist philosophy, or even wave function collapse from quantum mechanics, you realize they're all pointing to the exact same core mechanism, some kind of definitive lock-in event at birth that sets all the initial conditions for your entire life. So when you boil it all down, understanding this dual display system, the static blueprint of your horoscope and the dynamic live feedback from your palm, it's not really about predicting the future. It's about empowering you to play the game with more intention, with more awareness. So the final question is, now that you've seen the guide, how are you going to choose to play?